We believe that videos, images, words, and sounds have the absolute power to inform, inspire, and entertain. We are united under the virtues of safety and knowledge. We are a training community of learners and teachers who encourage and energize each other to achieve greatness. We are pilots, videographers, photographers, freelancers, business owners, enthusiasts, experts, and apprentices. We are creators. We are the Drone U.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another nerdy episode of Ask Drone U. My name is Paul.
Nerdy indeed, Paul, and I'm Rob, and you're listening to episode number 296. And yes, as always, we are really, really grateful that you're spending a few minutes of your valuable time with us.
We definitely do. Let me ask you a question.
Please.
If someone called you nerdy, would you be offended?
I would be flattered.
Me too, because guess what? It means I'm smart. It means
Absolutely.
I make money. Means I'm efficient.
Definitely.
It means like four times.
No, it's like a theme of, raising kids, frankly, is it's cool to be a nerd.
Well, I think it really is, especially in today's day and age, because all the nerds are looking down at all the kids that used to bully on them and like,
exactly.
My bank account's full.
The nerds are the ones that can go to the reunions at 10, 20, 30 years and laugh.
That is very true. In
That's
their
right.
helicopter, as our producer says.
Right. You think Bill Gates was a nerd? You think any of those guys were nerds? I'm going to say yes.
Yes, absolutely. I will say this, though. Being nerdy is also a good thing because you take risks. And if you take risks, it means you're going to be good at business. And if you're going to be good at business, it means you got to be prepared to fail.
Absolutely.
But if you're risky, failure should seem as an opportunity for new things. I say that because I want to empower all of you dronies out there who are working on your drone businesses. And if you are, understand that most famous people who are famous for their success did not have success.
He just said that.
They didn't have sex or success until their first failure.
That was a slip. Please do not hold that against us.
So.
Okay, good. I don't know.
So just to clarify, they didn't have sex or success until their first failure.
Oh, now he just likes saying it. And we won't talk about why he likes saying it. Anyways.
You know what? We all make mistakes.
We do.
I think my point was just made, Rob.
Absolutely. Only a really cool nerd would.
All right, let's get into today's question. Today's question is sponsored by... Are you a drone pilot? Are you operating under a Section 333 exemption? Then you may be familiar with Item 27, which requires you to get a property release for every flight over property.
Legal Flyer is an app for iPhone and iPad that helps you create professional property releases in less time than it takes to do a pre-flight check.
You can add your pilot info, you can sign in, hand it to the property owner for their signature. But wait a second. Legal Flyer's advanced integration automatically adds latitude, longitude, and even altitude.
Then add a panorama straight from the app. Everything drops into a single-page PDF you can share with a single tap. It's compliance at light speed. Visit LegalFlyer.com for more information or get it straight from the App Store. Legal Flyer. Property releases for professional drone pilots.
G'day guys, Jamie here from Australia. Just wondering if you've ever had any dramas with birds and how you've managed them. That'd be great to know.
I love this question. You know why?
Why?
Because it's short and sweet. We've had a couple of really long questions, which we appreciate as well. We like the multi-part questions.
I like the business questions because people want to know things from business aspects. And it's like,
yes.
I'm so sick of talking about legalities. It's like, with the micro UAS coming out, there are going to be hundreds of people, hundreds if not thousands of people starting their drone businesses. And for all the guys who have been focused on, getting their 333s and they're not working on their flying, you're about to be surpassed by people who fly better than you. So focus on your flying, guys.
Well, it's about balance for sure. You got to be doing all of it.
Yep. Yeah.
Most definitely.
If you're an entrepreneur, you have to be comfortable with being a jack of all trades. But if you're like me and you take interest in learning how things work and you really take an interest on learning in general, it's a lot of fun. It really
Absolutely.
is. So, all right. So Rob,
birds.
have you had any issues flying with birds?
Well, my Simha was taken out by a pigeon.
Oh man,
it was devastating, Paul.
Let me ask you one question. Were you able to fly the Simha after it crashed?
Are you kidding me? I popped that sucker right back in the air. That thing's a beast.
Oh, man. Rob, you make me laugh. I'm
glad you like my Simha.
I think it's a great idea. For those of us who have been flying, a couple recommendations for you. If you're flying on the outside on the beach, or if you're flying outside and you're having bird issues, I recommend to turn your vision positioning system off. I think that you will find that may actually help you significantly with the birds, because animals hear different frequencies than humans do.
Right.
And because of the ultrasonic sensors, and because of the stereoscopic camera, I always say that wrong, who cares? Because of the ultrasonic sensors, they're putting out sound to the ground to measure the distance to the ground.
Right.
And that could definitely affect with a lot of animals. So step one, turn VPS off. I think that would really help you out. I would love to have Jack Hanna on the show, though, just to make sure we were right about that. Just also to be like, Jack Hanna, can I have your outfit? Anyway. No, I think it's really important to turn that off. But also, if you do have a bird starting to circle you, move away from the bird. Get distance away from that thing. Normally, you're flying near their nest, which I've seen happen before. I don't know the politically correct thing to say here, Rob.
Well,
if you're supposed to, run away from the birds with your drone or start attacking them to make them fearful, which any animal person would be like, how dare you ever say that?
And honestly, I don't think we should be handling it that way. I mean, we need to be sensitive to nature and to the bird's domain, so to speak. But the reality is birds are everywhere, essentially, right? So
instead of giving the politically correct answer, I'm going to give you what I do. I literally just try to de-elevate and move away from the birds to let them know that I'm not trying to threaten them.
Yeah.
I've only had this happen in California, though.
Really?
With the birds, yeah. Once at Berryessa and once down in Southern California.
Do you remember the type of birds? Because I would imagine there are some species that are more aggressive than others, some that they'll go away just on their own.
Berryessa was a hawk.
Okay, so that's probably a pretty aggressive bird.
Yeah. I had seagulls in Southern California.
And they're not the brightest, are they?
No, but they always stayed away from me because I was doing really low, high-speed passes along an opened, or I should say closed off beach. Anyway, I really do think it's pretty important to stay away from the birds, but they will, depending on what you're flying, they will try to stay away from you. So.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe it's just out of curiosity some of the birds are going to check out, like, what is this other thing in the air?
Well, I would say that I think I've seen this happen a lot with the Phantoms, the small drones, the Solos, the Typhoons.
Simhas.
I've never really seen it. Yes, Rob, with Simhas.
Okay,
I've never really seen it
with
S1000s. I've never really seen it with octocopters, because I think those, and that's why I said what I said, you're only going to see this with certain type of drones.
Sure.
I do think, though, the culprit is VPS. I really do believe that. I've been told that by multiple people. It makes sense to me as far as the rationalization of science.
So are you saying that sound is bothering them, and so they're going to the sound to get rid of it?
I think it's one of two problems.
Like a mating call kind of positive sound.
I think you were right the first time that it's a sound that they don't enjoy. It pisses them off. But also, I think it's a territorial thing.
That makes sense.
You're near the nest, like I said before. You're near the nest. You're near, wherever their eggs or babies are. They're going to start freaking out.
Sure.
So that's why I say, move away, de-elevate, let them know, hey, I'm not here to mess with you.
Right. So VPN, are there other... VPS, I'm sorry, thank you. Are there other mechanisms that you can deploy from the ground, for example, sound or something that will kind of clear the area? And maybe that's not humane and we shouldn't be doing that, but have you heard of anything like that?
Yes, actually, I have. Have you ever been to Lowe's recently?
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Have you ever noticed in the commercial department where the big doors are and you always hear, caw-caw, caw-caw, caw-caw?
I think maybe I have heard that now that you say that.
Those are the fake hawk sounds to keep the birds away.
Okay, so that would be a humane way of doing it.
I think it would.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean it depends.
It's not like a dog whistle or something.
Depends on who you're arguing with, but yes, I think it would be a humane way to do it. So now, if you were having a discussion with PETA, they probably might say this. They probably wouldn't say the same thing. So, but I do think it is a very humane way to do it, and I think it will become more and more of a problem for drone operators in the future.
Yeah.
So try that. If you guys have alternatives to get birds away, let us know. I guess you could try to feed the birds. Maybe not.
Like use the splash drone and drop bread.
Hey, what a good
And then
idea.
they all go,
Create creative solutions.
absolutely.
Who knows if it would work?
I don't know, but you
guys
got to
are
try.
probably laughing at us.
Well, hopefully. So one of the things that we've come across, and I'm sure everybody's aware of this, which is sort of an interesting side story to this topic, is the Dutch police training eagles to physically take out drones.
I was hoping you weren't going to know or bring that up.
Why? That's so apropos for this conversation.
Because I think it's so. I get the idea of using birds for drones. They're teachable, they're trainable, they're more powerful. But one of the things that's been brought up to me by actually Amanda, our receptionist, or not receptionist, our
Jack of all
get
it done,
trades,
keep everybody going. Yes,
and she's very, 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 very nice.
And
I
valuable.
Just thought I would say
very valuable.
One more time.
Yes.
She mentioned, she was like, well, wouldn't the propellers hit the bird's legs, and then continue to hit them? And I know we've seen the video of the hawks going after the phantoms with the plastic props, but what if a drone had carbon fiber props?
Yeah.
It's going to cut the legs off of the bird, in my opinion.
No, absolutely.
I mean, you have
talk about inhumane.
Yeah, and I don't think it's right to use birds to try and stop drones. We all know it just takes a simple burst of radio frequencies to jam these things and send them home. Mm-hmm. Why not use that?
Or a net, or if it's that important to you, there are other means besides using a bird.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't think it's the right solution. Is it a creative solution? Are they going to test it and probably realize it may not be the best idea? It'll be interesting to see what comes out of it. I know that they are trying it. I don't think it's the best thing to do, but governments are very afraid of people strapping explosives to drones and flying them where they shouldn't be flown.
So in that sense, that's a sacrificial eagle. I mean, if they think there's literally explosives on the drone and they're using it for that purpose, I mean, they're putting that bird in pretty serious
Well, I think they're
risk.
using the bird to stop drones for security purposes.
Right.
I'm taking that to the extreme.
I understand.
If you don't believe me that governments are not worried about this, in fact, you know what? I'll share the picture with you, John, so you can post it on the podcast here. I think using drones for explosives is terrible. Awful idea. Do not ever do that. That is not okay.
Right.
We're not cool with that. So
yeah, of course not.
If you do that, you should never be allowed to fly ever again, period. But anyway, check out this picture from DOD. They have been aware of the issue, which I'm glad about. They have ways to take drones out of the sky, which I'm happy about.
Right.
We do need to keep ourselves safe because, guys, as many of you would argue that, hey, 90% of us are responsible operators. I agree. I totally agree. But it only takes one person to do something horribly wrong to ruin it for everyone.
Absolutely.
So
don't mess around with that stuff.
Yes.
Seriously.
But it may be a good idea to have a kamikaze drone. So this is actually something that I did a presentation yesterday, and it was something I was talking about at this security presentation about how to take drones out of the sky. And I'm actually going to work with a local FPV builder, and I'm going to have him build me a frame where the motors are completely encapsulated. Okay. So it's almost acting like a ducted fan. And I'm going to create a kamikaze drone.
To do what with?
To take other drones out.
Oh.
Like, I want to test it. I want to see, because, everyone's like, oh, we're going to use drones with nets. Oh, we're going to use a rifle to jam a signal. Oh, we're going to use birds. Why not fight fire with fire?
That actually could be an interesting new sport, which is drone
Could you imagine
battling.
If that was your job? If your job was like the police calls you, you've got this little like phantom-sized case, and you pull out your 8-inch kamikaze drone that goes 100 miles an hour, is fully encapsulated, and your job is just to take out other drones. Like, how much fun would that be? I'm just saying, talk about a challenge. Races are fun, but man, that would take it to the next level.
All right, so new business idea from Drone U.
We should add that one, John, to the list of 400.
We're going to do a course.
Yes. Actually, that should be a YouTube video for us, because I want to do the series on all the drone businesses you could start, and then that'd be the first one.
Okay, so this is to go after rogue drones, obviously. Drones that are up to no good.
Yes.
I mean, certainly not just any drone, obviously. I just feel like we should make sure we say these things, because people will assume if we don't say very clearly what we're thinking.
Yes. That is true.
Indeed.
But I do think that it would be a smart answer. It would give FPV pilots a lot of fun things to do, and I think it solves the problem. The thing is that you've got to have deployable people at any moment to actually stop problems of security or mass security problems.
Well, you've got to be a pretty darn good pilot too, right? To be able to fly it into a moving drone.
One of the things that I think is really important is that, the flight controller between a missile and the Pixhawk is practically the same thing. Mm-hmm. The only difference between those two platforms is A, the explosives, and B, the camera's ability to use software to target things.
Right.
But imagine if there was an autonomous FPV Racer that could track drones by the heat signature they give off.
So like a heat-seeking missile, essentially.
It's like a heat-seeking drone missile that flies home. It's like a reusable missile.
So
I think I'm coming through a breakthrough right now. I hope NSA is listening to this because I'm giving you guys some pretty killer ideas right now. So.
They probably already have them, actually.
True.
So you're not expecting this to be destroyed in the event of an actual collision. It's going to just do the damage and just come right back home.
So I have this image in my mind right now. I'm going to try and display how this would work. Imagine the field behind our office that we train at.
Right.
Phantom hovering at like 20 feet above on like a solid autonomous path. So 7 meters per second because most waypoints, they go about 7 meters per second. And I would come in, woo, 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 and then I would eye the drone and match its line, and I would fly right over the drone and then boom, 90 degrees, go through the props, 90 degrees out, bank out.
Wow. Can I fly the Phantom?
Yes,
I want to be a part of this.
So imagine
experience.
the Phantom, right? It's just kind of going along, and I'm like, whoop, poof, whoop. So, sorry, I'm getting a little nerdy here, but I told you it was going to be a nerdy episode.
That's right. It's cool to be a nerd. What about maybe using that same drone to, I don't know, shoot a net at it or something? To fire.
The issue, though, is that you're going to have a massive drone. It's going to have a huge payload.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be as maneuverable as a Phantom on steroids.
True enough. Yeah.
If you're trying to go after a solo, like that would be hard. That thing really flies fast.
Yeah.
People don't give the solo props for its speed ability, but it's way faster than a Phantom.
Well, frankly, if you just kind of chase it around for a little, even if you can't hit it, you're diverting its attention and it's going to run out of battery.
Yeah, totally.
And die that way. So.
Totally. I think maybe the Kamikaze drone would have to go into the Phantom 4. If we can't crash the Phantom 4 through obstacle avoidance, then I think that would be the final takedown.
That's the next use for it.
Oh, man.
That's funny.
I just want to test the obstacle avoidance in its full capacity. I want people to have visualizations of what really works and what doesn't. And I'm not trying to prove Unique or DJI wrong.
No.
I just want to say you're making a claim and we're going to test it.
Well, sure. And again, it probably does work. I'm sure it does work, but only to a certain point. So what is that point?
Exactly.
That's the question.
And you know what? When it comes to flying, I said this yesterday again in my presentation. When it comes to flying, if someone tells you they've never crashed, they're either lying to you or they've never truly flown.
Right.
Which means
Yeah,
they're not testing
the
their limits, and that's, I think, an important thing to know. Just like when you go to pilot school, they say your level of risk is going to exceed your level of skill, but as your skill goes up, you can take up your level of risk.
Sure.
So at least that's what I was taught in powered parachute school. So
makes a bit of sense.
It
All right.
does. It does. Well, guys, very excited to have some fun names on the podcast coming up here soon. Eric Chang, John Rupert, Vic Moss, 3 different subjects, all things that are going to make your mind go ah la la la.
Well, they're gonna bring a tremendous amount of value and benefit to listeners, so you're gonna want to tune into those.
It's gonna be lots of food for thought, so I'm very excited about that. Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for us today. Remember, if you have a question, go to askadroneu.com, upload that question, and you have a chance to win a free membership for a year. We'll be giving that away. Last year, that was Nick Lang. You remember Nick Lang?
I do remember Nick Lang.
Nick Lang,
good guy, good pilot.
Yeah, definitely a good guy. He's very funny. I really like Nick Lang, and he recently he was like, "I'll trade you some Nick Lang shirts for some Drone U shirts," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna rep Drone U." But I appreciate the offer for the shirts.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. I'll send you a Drone U shirt anyway.
Oh,
You
definitely.
can keep your Nick Lang shirt, but thank you.
You know what? Send me one. I'll wear it, Nick.
Oh, there you go, Nick.
There
you
you
got
go.
a follower.
That's
One
right.
new one. He'll
That's
be
right.
on Snapchat later today.
I'll wear it on one podcast, I promise.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for being a part of the community. Thank you so much for being a Drone U member. If you are, we really appreciate it. And guys, if you are not a member, check it out. If you want to learn, if you want to master flight, you want to have that confidence to fly and do the things and get the shots that make people go, whoa, dude, then you're definitely going to want to check out
Absolutely.
Drone U.
And if you're a new pilot,
even more so, check out Don't Crash Course, don'tcrashcourse.com. Literally all the ways you can crash, and we help you not crash. That's going to do it for us today. My name is Paul.
I'm Rob.
This is Ask Drone U.
We believe that videos, images, words, and sounds have the absolute power to inform, inspire, and entertain. We are united under the virtues of safety and knowledge. We are a training community of learners and teachers who encourage and energize each other to achieve greatness. We are pilots, videographers, photographers, freelancers, business owners, enthusiasts, experts, and apprentices. We are creators. We are the Drone U.